You understand power, you chase it, feed it. Like breathing, isn't it? Necessary. Especially when you're just the other son, the one with rougher edges. Less grace than Malfurion, reaching for the serene stars. Me, I reach where the light burned raw, hungry. Sorcery wasn't a gentle whisper of leaves. It was wildfire in my veins, stronger, faster, always needing to be more. Recognition wasn't vanity. It was air, and Tyrant saw it. She saw me, or did she? Sometimes the light in her eyes seemed brighter when it reflected Malfurion, my brother, the hero. Then the Legion came. Fire raining from a broken sky, demons, endless. You felt the world cracking under their boots, smelled the corruption churning the very earth. How do you fight gods? How do you stop that tie? My brother summoned vines. Tyrant whispered prayers to the moon. Fat lot of good, sorcerers. His gaze was like molten lead poured into your skull. Pure annihilation. They saw darkness. I saw potential. A weapon forged in the destroyer's own furnace. Taking his power, absorbing that corrupted fell fire. Gods, it was agony. Every cell screamed, but power. Immense, terrifying power slammed into me. My eyes burned out, forever seeing only the swirling chaos of magic. A small price. Azeroth needed a monster to fight monsters. And this power, it worked I tore into them. The betrayal, know what shatters harder than the soul. Faith, my victory ash in my mouth, chains from Tyrant, from Malfurion, from those who called me brother. 10,000 years, 10,000 years trapped below ground, forgotten, condemned, for saving them. Deep beneath the roots, in the velvet darkness, resentment takes root. It coils, it grows thorns, they called me back. Irony tastes bitter, doesn't it, the scourge tearing the world apart. Arthas, that butchering princeling, and Tyrant comes begging . We needed each other, I felt it again, dragging that wretched demon hunter blade through undead flesh. Purpose, the sliver of something like belonging. But they didn't need me. They needed the weapon, needed me to bleed. Again, Tichendrius laughed at us, mocked our weakness, burrowed deep, poisoning the land. We needed more than whispers and moonlight then. The skull of Gul'dan, oh, they warned me, Tyrant pleaded. There's a desperation when you stare into the void and its victory feels inevitable, consuming it, gulping down centuries of demonic filth. The transformation was worse than Sargeras's gift. Horns tearing from my skull, skin scorching, hardening, leathery wings shredding my back. Tear demon, the look in Tyrant's eyes, utter horror, like staring at pus from a plague wound. She saw only the monster, not the impossible victory wrung from pure torment. Never the sacrifice. Kil'jaeden found me then, drawn to the stake of my corruption. Like recognizes like. He whispered promises laced with venom, a bargain, destroy the Lich King, and my debt paid. Stay and face annihilation, always annihilation. Manipulated, perhaps, but Outland. Shattered remnants of a world became my shield. Someone had to stand guard at the broken gate to the Legion's next invasion. Someone strong, someone willing to pay any price. Orcs warped by fell energy. Broken Draenei chained to the forge. Necessary tools, painful choices. Listen. Drowning worlds don't offer kind choices. only survival. Ash and iron, soft hearts get buried beneath them. I built an army forged in Outland's hellfire, not for dominion, for defiance, against oblivion itself, and the asterisk came, the saviors of Azeroth, the Alliance and Horde, blinded by heroes' tales whispered in cozy ends. They sought tyranny, cruelty, they saw the horns, the wings, the fell fire, never the bulwark I hammered against the Legion's return gate, never the dread gnawing at my guts. Kil'jaeden was coming, always coming. They stormed my gates, slaughtered my loyalists, my Illidari, shattered altars that powered defenses meant to incinerate demons, pawns destroying the shield, protecting the chessboard. When your sanctuary is breached, your citadel crumbling, you stand alone atop the black temple. They roar righteous fury, a Kama's betrayal stings. Maeve's ancient hatred burns cold beside him. That paladin, blind faith in his dim light. You look at them, fools blinded by their own small lights. They call you fallen, betrayer. The chains from 10,000 years ago rattle right here, tightened by their judgment. My hunters, my pursuers, you understand nothing. The Legion will drown this pathetic little rebellion. Your cities will be ash. Can't you see the storm beyond the veil? Doesn't the chill of annihilation freeze your worthless bones? The blade hits searing light, or is it cold? Doesn't matter, darkness, silence, then Argus, shattered remnants, circling a burning heart of pure chaotic hatred. Sargeras' throne, the Legion unleashed, endless they know now, walking those poisoned plains, seeing the scope. The horror I foresaw pulsing in my ruined eyes 10,000 years ago, the weapons, the sacrifices, Outland, the skull, Gul'dan, Kil'jaeden. Even Maeve's chains, all comparisons collapsed before that inferno. What peace treaties mattered? What gentle reforms held back that tie? What small hearth fire endures a supernova? Extreme measures, necessary pain, a flawed savior who waded hip-deep in darkness to push back an eternal night. Maybe, perhaps my methods truly were monstrous. The enslaving, the twisting, fell pumping through veins. Perhaps I enjoyed the power, the sharpness, the obliteration, a little too much. Does that stained soul negate the bulwark? Or was Illidan Stormrage, betrayer, lord of Outland, the unspeakable guard dog, the one Azeroth needed, not the one it wanted, standing defiant at the edge of oblivion, whispering to its darkness, you are not prepared. Who truly betrayed whom? Illidan Stormrage was born with gold eyes, a rare sign of great arcane power. Even as a youth in ancient night elf society, he could see magic as tangible streams of energy. This gift became a curse. He dismissed his people's druidic traditions with contempt, calling them slow and primitive. While his brother Malfurion communed with nature, Illidan thirsted for the swift, addictive rush of arcane magic. That hunger defined him and damned him. During the War of the Ancients, when demons ravaged Azeroth, Illidan saw an opportunity. Queen Ashara and her hybrid sorcerers were channeling the well of eternity to summon Sargeras. Malfurion sought to destroy the well, to sever their power. Illidan betrayed them all. He created a new well of eternity atop Mount Hyjal, preserving the source of magic he coveted. He called it salvation. It was treason. His own people imprisoned him for 10,000 years for it. All he saw was their blindness to the power they rejected. When the Legion returned during the Third War, his jailer, Maeve's shadow song, freed him. He saw a new path to power. He consumed the fell energies of a demonic artifact, the Skull of Gul'dan. Tusks burst from his temple, dark wings ripped from his back. He embraced the monstrous transformation, delighting in the devastating might he gained. Kel'Thuzad had raised Archimonde, and Illidan destroyed him, briefly hailed a hero, but his victory reeked of fell corruption. Tyrann and Malfurion drove him into exile. His savagery repulsed those he claimed to save. Fleeing to Outland, Illidan didn't seek redemption. He craved an empire. He found the corrupted Kel'Thuz's Sunstrider and the Serpentine Naga led by Lady Vash. He didn't save them. He seduced them. He promised to quench Kel'Thuz's addiction to magic and deliver Vash a world. They were tools. He used Kel'Thuz's mastery of energy to fuel his forge of conquest. He used Vashti's legions to crush rivals. Together they carve a bloody swath across the shattered realm of Outland, building an army under his iron fist. That army was forged in agony. Illidan sought soldiers immune to demonic corruption. He subjected captive Magar orcs to rituals drenched in pit lord blood, twisting them into savage fell orcs whose lives were mere embers, sacrificed to his ambition. He experimented on Draenei survivors, wrenching souls to create the warped broken. Their screams echoed through his sanctums. He didn't flinch. Power required sacrifice, and he sacrificed anyone but himself. Kil'jaeden, Sargeras's lieutenant, saw his potential. He offered Illidan a bargain: destroy the frozen throne and annihilate Ner'jol, the Lich King, and be granted power beyond measure. Illidan accepted the Dreadlord's power hungrily. Yet even then his arrogance proved fatal. When he failed his mission, Kil'jaeden promised excruciating death. Illidan didn't face judgment. He fled back to Outland, fortifying the Black Temple. He spat on Kil'jaeden as bargain, stealing the power and hiding. The Legion's fury meant nothing next to his survival. In the Black Temple, Illidan became a tyrant. Dissent was pulped under fellhound claws. Slaves fueled his dark engines. His word was law, enforced by his fanatical Illidari. His grand plan: seize the Eye of Sargeras, an artifact of apocalyptic power. Why? Not to save Azeroth from the Legion that hunted him, but to shatter the frozen throne, his shattered ego screaming for vengeance against Arthas, the Death Knight who had humiliated him. Azeroth's stability mattered less than his personal grudge. His past hunted him. Maeve's shadow song, his relentless jailer, stormed Outland. They clashed blade to blade in the echoing halls of his fortress. Her hatred mirrored the consequences of every life he ruined, every bond he shattered. She was the living ghost of his betrayals, and their desperate battle laid bare the trail of ruin he'd carved through millennia. Tyrann, Malfurion, his own people. His end came through the front gates. Akamat, the Draenei elder whose people suffered under his cruel experiments, led the assault. Him, Kel'Thuz's embittered former knights, the Alliance, the Horde, united only by the monstrous thread and the Black Temple. They fought through his nightmare legions. Up the shattered tiers they climbed, hunting the winged demon lord. He didn't beg. He didn't reveal hidden nobility. He fought with savage, snarling defiance. Maeve delivered the final strike, vengeance millennia overdue. As darkness claimed him, There was no remorse, only unrepentant fury. Illidan Stormrage, the betrayer, died as he lived, consumed by his own need. A danger crushed Azeroth sighed in relief. His poisonous ambitions, his reckless pursuit of power at any cost. The world was safer with him still. The fell would spread further, demons would threaten anew, but none could claim Illidan Stormrage was ever anything but the architect of his own monstrous fate. 10,000 years. That's what it cost me. 10,000 years staring at nothing but polished crystal, mocking my blindness, feeling the cold seep from the stone deep into my bones. It started differently, you know, Sir Mar, before the Legion shattered it. My brother and I learning the ways of the arcane under Cenarius. But where Malfurion embraced the wildness, the songs of the forests, and druidism, I hungered for the raw power thrumming from the well of eternity. It seduced me, that raw, boundless magic became my obsession, perfection, control. The war of the ancients tore the world apart, demons, fire, endless screaming. Ashara had opened the door, blinded by Sargeras's promises. I saw what needed to be done. Always saw it, while Malfurion hesitated, counseling caution, preaching to the trees. I acted. I stole the demon soul. I sought allies even among monsters. Power is a tool, I told myself. It must be taken, forged, used, ill-gotten power, perhaps, but it was power aimed squarely at the Legion's heart, and when the only way left to stop them was to destroy the source, to sunder the very font of our people's power, that shimmering eternal lake, I didn't hesitate. I shattered the well of eternity, and the backlash took my eyes, searing them away, blind yet empowered. Sargeras himself offered a gift then, a different sight, the gift of his fell flames, burning within the hollows where my eyes had been. How could I refuse? This new vision saw the world as it truly was. Torrents of magic, layered realities, the pulsing life force of demons themselves. It was clarity amidst the chaotic twilight of the sundering. Malfurion only saw the corruption. He saw the fell energy scorching my very soul, the irrevocable pact. He saw a traitor. They all saw the enemy. The price I dared to pay made monstrous and ugly. I embraced the power, yes, but it was for for Kalimdor and their thanks. 10 millennia in the dark, entombed beneath the roots of Nordrassil, guarded by my jailer, my Eve shadow song. 10,000 years listening to spring turn to summer, summer to fall, forgetting warmth. Bitterness seeped in, replacing blood, obsession petrified into my core. Had it all been for nothing? Were they fools? Am I, then? Light, a crack in eternity, an impossible scent, mingled jasmine and warfare. Tyranned, she broke the prison. The Legion returned to Lord Darren, reshaping the world into a battlefield of plague and undeath. She freed me, needed my power against the true foe. Freedom tasted like ashes at first, brittle, whole, betrayal stung, yet a purpose, a chance to prove myself, to show my understanding of the enemy was the only one that mattered. Her mission? Hunt down the tainted artifact fueling Tichandrius's power here on Azeroth. Golden S. Festering Skull. That wretched orc warlock's legacy, I tracked its necrotic pulse, finding it unleashed possibilities, absorbing its demonic power, its Icarus secrets, it burned worse than the eye. Flames, 1,000 molten needles, piercing every vein, twisting my body, shattering its elven form. The fell consumed, reforged, massive wings erupted from my back, horns thrust from my brow, hooves shattered my feet. I became the thing my brother feared, a demon, an Illidari. This new power, staggering, searing fell energies, annihilated Tichendrius, yes, but the cost hung heavy. Exile awaited my new form upon Azeroth. I saw it in their eyes, fear, disgust. There would be no homecoming. Where to go the remnants of Outland awaited, a desolate rock shattered by Drenner's destruction. Command from Kil'jaeden himself forced me out there. Serve the destroyer, hardly bend the knee strategically. A necessity, survival, strategy, Outland was power waiting to be seized. Its chaotic battlefields were a forge for my ambition. Kel'Thas, Sunstrider, broken prince seeking salvation for his dying people. Lady Vash, once Queen Ashara's handmaiden, like me transform. Mutated, powerful allies, disposable, perhaps, but useful. Together we wrenched control of Outland from Pit Lord Magtheridon, crushed him beneath the stones of his own citadel, the Black Temple. His own blood fueled the fell forges. His own demonic legions became mine. Forges roared day and night. Fell orcs spawned in vats, bathed in blood and magic. The skies darkened with fell hunters bred for war. We struck at the legion's foothold. The tempest keep crippling their advance attempt, stealing back hope. Stealing Naru-engineered technology, power consolidated. Yet Balnazar's treachery forced my hand. Kil'jaeden's gaze turned back upon me. His command returned to Azeroth. Destroy the frozen throne, silence the traitorous Lich King, Arthas Menethil. Failure was not an option, a chance to finally strike back, or a death sentence. My forces flooded through the reopened dark portal, landing on the ragged shore of Lordaeron. Fell energy scarred the landscape anew. Chaos bubbled atop the wine-scoured spire of Icicrone itself. I faced Arthas, sore to run a blades. Frostmourne howled its perverse hunger. We fought a bitter duel above the frozen throne's inner sanctum, demon versus death knight. Monster versus death, he bested me. Pure luck? Some lingering ember of Ner'zhul's manipulation? Or perhaps he truly was the greater monster, bleeding, broken wing, the cold seeping into old wounds reopen. I barely escaped with my life, retreating through the portal back to Outland. Defeat tasted like frozen metal. I strengthened my grip on the Black Temple tenfold. My realm, my fortress, let Kil'jaeden come. Let Azeroth send its so-called heroes. This time the mountain would fall upon them. And they came, horde, alliance, Rene remnants, Nagas broken, drawn by the tempestuous activity at the dark portal, fueled by opportunistic leaders and renewed zeal from Shattrath. They called it liberation. They saw a usurper, an abomination polluting the shattered world. They could not see the chessboard, the legion's shadow creeping across their own fleets. Armies poured into hellfire. Shattrath spilled out its forces. They bled to breach my sanctuary, my citadel, my prison battered inward by cannon and spell and raw, witless determination. The battle raged through festering corridors. Akama, that old, scheming broken, revealed his centuries of simmering vengeance. guiding them past the inner wards. My Eve was there. Years of isolation taught me the weight of her steps, the sound of her rage like venomous silk. She emerged through the smoke, blades glinting with 10 millennia of dedicated hatred. She had orchestrated this, claiming legitimacy through ancient law. Adventurers rallied around her instruments for her vengeance. A final stand on the apex, it was a whirlwind. The crushing weight of endless opponents, tiredness born not of flesh that only sang with stolen power, but of spirit. The grind of endless blindness, endless betrayal, endless futility. My glaives met steel, met spell, met cursed dagger thrust home by Shadow Song herself, the cold edge finding purchase forged over millennia. I fell, not to heroes, not truly to inevitability, to the universe asserting the impossibility of my gamble. Darkness took me on the stones of my temple. Centuries passed in absolute nothingness, the vault of the wardens. Maximum security for a price so petrifying. Chains of Eritor bound me, leeching magic, feeding despair, sightless, trapped again. Endless silence punctured only by distant drip of water and closer drip of venomous resentment from my Eve's spar. The Legion invaded Azeroth, shattered broken isles. Suramar fell anew, Dalaran crashed, the burning throne smirked across the cosmos. I felt the Legion's triumphant surge even in my sensory void. Utter despair washed cold over the bitterness. Nothing ever changes, then chaos, the wardens attacked fractured. Magic flared unstable, desperate. My chains snapped, my Eve. Here, again, fury warped her voice. Release me for this, to fight the Legion on Argus. Absurd, disgusting, yet Argus, birthplace of demons. Endless fonts of fell power shut down only by shattering the very seat of the dark Titan's power. Hope, not quite, purpose inarguable. Perhaps even destiny. The Zenithar beckoned, a journey into the heart of annihilation itself. Argus seethed around me, the planet screamed. Demonic citadels clawed at the bleeding sky. The ruins of my fell guards ignited a firestorm as we blazed towards the tomb of Sargeras, towards the seat of the Pantheon itself. Kara, the cycle of endless retribution ended as that maddened god Titan broke upon buried thrones. This final stand was never about redemption. It was necessity. It was inevitable conclusion. Arrogance brought us low. Power broke worlds. Sacrifice sometimes is the only equation that balances the scale. Even mine, my only death worthy of the name. Chosen, I am prepared, always prepared. That burning agony digging his own fingers into his eye sockets, it wasn't just stealing light, was it? Illidan ripped out his very asterisk, seeing asterisk, to gain something else, a scorch kind of sight, perpetually illuminated by fell fire, witnessing the Legion not just with eyes, but scorching his soul with their chaotic patterns. That was his first great sacrifice. Physical agony was just the tremor before the quake. He would twist his body, embrace demonic corruption, carve channels for volatile power, forever abandoning the form nature gifted him. But deeper cuts followed, leaving Tyran's warmth, the clarity of her affection walking away from Malfurion, his twin, his echo in the world. He sacrificed kinship, the very ground beneath his feet of belonging. Tell me, what is a hero without witnesses? Every step Illidan took for Azeroth frayed the threads binding him to others. He became a ghost draped in flesh and shadow, making choices that screamed traitor his martyrdoms playing out on a stage utterly empty. Unseen by the very people he bled to save, sacrifice wasn't his weapon. It became his cage, isolated, misunderstood, choosing damnation path by path, believing no one else dared tread so close to the consuming flame. Loneliness was the deepest wound his power couldn't cauterize. Imagine that cold stone floor against your defiance, imprisoned. Why? For daring to wield the enemy's fire against the enemy, for staring at the abyss and shouting back. That sting, right here, the core, twisted into something else over 10,000 years. They named him betrayer, so the betrayer he became. First, a desperate, hollow allegiance sworn to kill Illidan, a satanic pact to divert an archman, chewing his own soul to spare the world. Manipulation wasn't just a tool. It was the language they forced him to speak. Kel'Thuz's Sunstrider, desperate and starving for magic, Illidan offered a banquet salted with fanatical loyalty. A useful weapon pointed well away from his own back, but the betrayal he sowed echoed endlessly. My Eve, Shadow Song, hold, my Eve, her vengeance wasn't just duty. It was obsession, fanned into righteous fire by his escape, his defiance of his prison. She hunted the monster he embraced becoming. Every strike she landed felt earned, didn't it? The perfect mirror reflecting the broken shards of his choices. He shattered trust and spent millennia drowning in the shrapnel. Feel that hunger, that buzzing emptiness only raw, torrential power can fill. Illidan knew it intimately. It consumed him. Arcane magic, a mere rill. He thirsted for the ocean. Fell became the forbidden draught, scorching, demanding, infinitely potent. He gulped it down at Zenishari, tapped the monstrous energies of Skull of Golden, leached world souls in Outland. Power became his reason, his breath, and, like all addicts, he clung to justification. In Outland, draped in the mantle of Lord of Outland, the mantra hardened into cold logic. The ends justify the means, stalk the broken world, impose brutal order, drain its life essence, all necessary, of course. All for the greater good, greater good. Demons would be stopped, and if legions of broken suffered or rebel leaders were crushed, collateral damage, necessary tyranny. Yet, standing over Artha's broken form, victory tasted of ash. Then again, shattered at the feet of the Lich King, his mountains of stolen power were sandcastles against the tide. Power alone, however monstrously acquired, however brutally wielded, proved a glittering, treacherous mirage. It consumed, but it didn't save, not Azeroth, not him, but Legion. When that sky ripped open a catastrophic second time, something shifted. Locked once more in that hated prison, time cools even infernos. He saw the reflection clearly, the monstrous legend sculpted by his choices, feared even by those he sought to serve. The title Savior had scorched away long ago. Self-awareness arrived, unwelcome but undeniable, the grand leader's mantle. A lie, his crown of thorns, chains were his legacy. So this time he demanded different shackles, not of stone, but of purpose. He stood in the shadows of the Pantheon itself, the whisper of eternity at his back, and looked upon the sister he loved who could barely conceal her horror, the brother who would never bridge the chasm, Acceptance wasn't peace. It was a gutting. You were right, I*am the monster. But it's this monster you need. A weapon forged in betrayal, quenched in sacrifice, edged with terrible power. His destiny wasn't kingship or redemption among kin. It was the eternities. Stepping back into the raw chaos of the twisting nether, not in conquest, not in addiction, but in burning endlessly, a solitary, incandescent blade aimed solely at the Legion's black heart. The ultimate sacrifice, embracing damnation as his eternal vigil. Did it redeem the atrocities? Did it restore shattered bonds? Forgiveness wasn't part of this cruel equation. Tyrann whispered of burdens suspended. Malfurion saw a shadow finally departing. But heroes still debate the dimming pyre. Did the betrayer finally become the sentinel? Or did he merely fulfill the sacrifice begun 10,000 years before isolated hunter, unseen martyr, carving defiance into the void? Forever, you know Illidan Stormrage, the betrayer. But do you truly understand the chains that bound him, the hearts he broke, and the shadows that shaped him? His path wasn't walked alone. It was carved by the people who stood beside him, who loved him, who fought him, who locked him away. Let's walk that path together, feeling the weight of those bonds. Think about Malfurion, his own twin brother. From the very beginning, Malfurion cast a long shadow. He was the one things came easily to. Leadership. It settled on his shoulders like a comfortable cloak. The ancient ways of druidism, he embraced them like breathing. Nature itself seemed to sing for him. And Illidan he watched, he felt the sting. He burned with arcane fire, a power he mastered through sheer, relentless will. Yet it always felt like he was chasing Malfurion's effortless grace. Their paths diverged sharply. Malfurion saw harmony, balance, the slow, patient growth of the world. Illidan saw threats, and he saw power raw, immediate power as the only answer. He would shatter mountains. If it meant saving the forest, Malfurion would coax the mountain to move. That fundamental clash, that feeling of never measuring up in his brother's eyes, it festered. Deep down, Illidan knew Malfurion saw his methods as reckless, dangerous, and when the Legion came, when Illidan made desperate, terrible choices, Malfurion's ultimate tact wasn't just justice. It felt like condemnation, locking him away beneath the earth in cold, silent stone. Malfurion called it protection, from Illidan, and protection, for the world. But for Illidan, trapped in endless night, it tasted only of punishment, a final, crushing proof that his brothers saw him not as flawed, but as irredeemable, a monster to be caged. Then there was Tyrann. She was the light, wasn't she? Before everything soured, she saw potential in Illidan where others saw only arrogance. She believed he could be more, could be a hero, and he loved her fiercely, desperately. He craved her approval, her faith, perhaps even her love in return. But her heart chose Malfurion, the steady brother, the harmonious one. That choice cut Illidan deeper than any blade. When she stood beside Malfurion, endorsing his imprisonment, it wasn't just betrayal by his leader. It was betrayal by the one whose belief he cherished most. It was the extinguishing of the last flicker of hope that someone truly understood him. Yet the heart is a stubborn thing. Millennia buried in darkness couldn't kill that ember. When the legion returned, when Tyrann was lost, besieged by the scourge, Illidan answered. Freed, empowered by Fel, a creature of terrifying power, he fought his way through the nightmare to save her, not for glory, not for the night elves, but for her. That moment, pulling her from the jaws of death, is screen the truth. His love, twisted and scarred, endured. It was a loyalty that defied reason, defied his own damnation, and her gratitude. Her brief moment of seeing him again was a cruel reminder of what was lost, what could never truly be regained. Arthas Menethil, the Lich King's chosen blade. Their paths collided in icy hatred. They were dark reflections, weren't they? Both damned by the power they seized to achieve their goals. Illidan consumed, fell, sacrificed his very being for the strength to destroy the Legion. Arthas embraced the necromantic frost, sacrificed his soul to purge his kingdom. Each saw the other as an abomination, a perversion of their own grim purpose. The duel atop the frozen spire of icy Crone was inevitable. Two corrupted champions, fueled by hatred and desperation. Illidan fought with the fury of millennia. The burning need to prove his sacrifice meant something, but Arthas, colder, more calculating, saw the chink in his armor, that towering pride, the need to be the savior, the ultimate power. He exploited it. He goaded Illidan, made him overextend, made him rage. And in that moment, Arthas struck true. Defeat tasted like ashes, but worse than the physical wound was the chilling realization Arthas forced upon him. Looking into those frozen blue eyes, Illidan didn't just see the enemy. He saw a monstrous reflection of his own choices, his own willingness to become the very evil he fought. Arthas was the dark mirror, showing Illidan the terrifying depths he himself had plumbed. Power isolates. Illidan knew this well. He gathered followers, yes. Kel'Thuz's Sunstrider, the prince desperate to save his people, dazzled by Illidan's power and promises. Lady Vashj, the loyal Naga commander, bound by ancient debts and perhaps genuine belief in his cause. They served him, fought for him, saw him as their only hope, but were they allies or tools? Illidan wielded them like weapons, directing their fury towards his grand design, stopping the Legion, no matter the cost. He demanded absolute loyalty, yet offered little in return but the harsh reality of his war. When his plans faltered, when Kil'jaeden's wrath descended, Illidan retreated. He left Kel'Thuz and Vashj holding the line, abandoned to face the consequences. Their loyalty was deep, but his was to his mission alone. They became sacrifices on the altar of his desperate struggle. And Kil'jaeden the deceiver himself, he offered Illidan the ultimate temptation, the power to destroy the burning Legion. Power Illidan craved, power he needed, but Kil'jaeden's gifts were chains. Accepting them meant kneeling before a master far worse than any he had known. It meant trading one form of damnation for another. Kil'jaeden manipulated Illidan's hatred of the Legion, his burning desire for vengeance, twisting it to serve the demon lord's own ends. Every command was a test. Every failure met with terrifying wrath. That suffocating control, that demand for absolute subservience, it ignited the one flame Kil'jaeden couldn't extinguish, Illidan's fierce, unyielding defiance. Rebellion wasn't just an option. It became his very identity. He would use the demon's power, but he would never truly serve. Lastly, Maeve Shadow Song, his jailer, his shadow. Her entire existence became defined by him. First, the relentless guardian, during his millennia of imprisonment, a constant, silent reminder of his cage. Then the furious hunter when he escaped. Maeve's pursuit wasn't just duty, it was obsession. She saw only the monster, the betrayer. Every atrocity, every desperate act he committed fueled her righteous fury. She embodied the relentless consequence of his choices. Her blade was justice, sharpened by 10,000 years of watching him in the dark. Her hatred was a reflection of the fear and revulsion he inspired. She was the living proof that his path, however necessary he believed it, left only scars and enemies in its wake. Fighting Maeve wasn't just battling a warden, it was battling the ghost of his own past deeds, given furious form. So you see, Illidan was never truly alone. He was sculpted by Malfurion's shadow, haunted by Tyrann's lost faith, mirrored horrifically by Arthur's, burdened by the loyalty of followers he used, enslaved by Kil'jaeden's bargains, and hunted by the embodiment of his own sins in Maeve. These bonds weren't just relationships, they were the forge and the anvil. They tempered his rage, twisted his love, fueled his defiance, and ultimately defined the betrayer. He sacrificed everything for his vision, his eyes, his soul, his freedom, even the hearts of those who might have loved him. Was he a monster, a hero? Perhaps he was simply Illidan, forever bound by the chains he forged in the fires of those impossible, defining relationships. The price of his power was paid in the currency of broken bonds, and that, perhaps, was his deepest wound. All right, settle and let's talk about Illidan Stormrage. Not just what he did, but the deep, lasting scars he carved into Azeroth itself. His shadow stretches long, far beyond his life or death. He didn't just participate in history. He shape it, often violently, leaving echoes we still feel today. Start where it truly began, the sundering. 10,000 years ago, the world shattered. And Illidan, he wasn't just caught in the chaos. He ignited, the final spark, creating that second well of eternity. Think about the sheer, desperate audacity of it. He saw the legion retreating, saw the chance to preserve the source of his people's power, their magic. He acted. He poured stolen vials of water from the first well into a new lake atop Mount Hyjal. He believed he was saving something precious, something vital for the fight he knew wasn't over. But that act had forced an entire people into exile. The Night Elves, victorious over the Legion, but horrified by his recklessness, by the sheer danger of another well attracting the demons back. They had no choice. They became nomads, guardians of the wilds, forever turning their backs on the arcane magic that had defined them. Illidan's well, intention, defiance, condemned his people to millennia of wandering, shaping their entire culture around suspicion of magic, suspicion of ambition, suspicion of anyone who dared step outside the rigid path laid down by Tyrann and Malfurion. His name became synonymous with betrayal, a dark stain on their history. Every time a night elf hesitates to wield arcane power, every time they distrust a mage or a warlock, that's Illidan's legacy whispering in their ears. He didn't just create a well. He created their defining trauma. And then the demon hunters. This is perhaps his most direct, visceral legacy. Faced with the Legion's inevitable return, Illidan didn't just train soldiers. He forged weapons, brutal, terrifying weapons. He took elves, promising vengeance, promising power to fight fire with fire, and plunged them into darkness. The ritual of absorption, consuming a demon, trapping its essence within your own body, sacrificing your eyes for spectral sight, it was monstrous. Necessary, he would argue, but monstrous. He didn't just found an order. He created a template for eternal sacrifice. These weren't just warriors. They were living prisons, walking bombshells of fell energy, forever teetering on the edge of becoming the very monsters they hunted. Their existence is his philosophy made flesh. The ends justify the means. No cost is too high. Every scar on a demon hunter's body, every flicker of fell fire in their gaze is a testament to Illidan's ruthless pragmatism. They are his enduring answer to the Legion, a terrifying, living legacy. Now shift your gaze beyond Azeroth to Outland, a broken world shattered by Nurgle's portals. And what did Illidan do? He didn't just survive there, he conquered. He reshaped it in his own image. Hellfire Peninsula became a brutal proving ground, his fell orc legions clashing endlessly. Shadowmoon Valley, he claimed the Black Temple, the very seat of the Shadow Council, and made it his fortress. The land itself groaned under his rule. Fell corruption seeped into the earth, twisting creatures, choking life, leaving scars that will never heal. Look at the Bloodespire Mountains, the fell-scarred plains of hellfire that's Illidan's handiwork. He didn't just occupy Outland, he branded it. His rule there wasn't monolithic, though it bred strange factions. The ash-dung, death-sworn broken Draenei, twisted by fell, yet bound by a fierce, almost fanatical loyalty to Illidan himself. Their existence speaks to a terrifying charisma, an ability to inspire devotion, even amidst utter darkness. And then the Older and the Scryers. Shattrath City became a powder keg because of Illidan. The Older, devout Naru-worshipping Draenei refugees, saw Illidan as a monstrous overlord. The Scryers, blood elves who followed Kel'Thas into Illidan's service, seeking salvation for their people, seeking power. Their bitter conflict, tearing Shattrath apart, stemmed directly from the choices made under Illidan's banner. He didn't just rule Outland, he fractured its survivors against each other. And speaking of Kel'Thas Sunstrider, Illidan's shadow fell heavy on the Blood Elf Prince. Serving Illidan wasn't just an alliance, it was a descent. Illidan offered power, offered a solution to the Blood Elves' crippling magical addiction siphoning fell energy. He showed Kel'Thas the path of embracing darker powers for survival, for supremacy. Illidan's own ruthless ambition, his willingness to traffic with demons and darker forces, normalized it for Kel'Thas. Serving the betrayer accelerated the prince's own corruption, twisting his noble desire to save his people into a lust for power that ultimately consumed him. Illidan didn't just command Kel'Thas, he helped pave his road to damnation. Then there's Maeve Shadowsong, her entire identity, her relentless drive, his forged in opposition to Illidan. 10,000 years hunting him, her obsession consumed her. Every tactic she employed, every harsh judgment she passed, every moment of her long life was defined by the pursuit of the betrayer. He wasn't just her prisoner, he was her purpose. His escapes fueled her fury, his defiance hardened her resolve. When Illidan finally fell, It wasn't just a victory. It was the culmination of her life's work, and even after, that obsession left its mark, making her rigid, unforgiving, a warden defined eternally by the one who got away until he didn't. Illidan created Maeve as much as he created the demon hunters, which brings us full circle. Legion, his resurrection. That moment, it wasn't just bringing back a character. It was unleashing his legacy anew. The Illidari, imprisoned by Maeve after his fall, were freed. Why? Because the world was not prepared. The Burning Legion returned in force, and Azeroth needed weapons too terrible to use lightly. Illidan's resurrection validated his entire philosophy. It proved that his demon hunters, forged in his brutal image, were necessary evils. It allowed new generation to take up the mantle, to willingly undergo the ritual of absorption, to become the living weapons he envisioned millennia ago. His return wasn't just a plot point. It was the resurgence of his most potent legacy, the belief that against annihilation, sacrifice, corruption, is justified. That phrase, "you are not prepared," it echoes far beyond the Black Temple. It embodies Illidan's entire ethos. It's a rejection of caution, of hesitation. It's the belief that survival demands embracing darkness, making monstrous choices before the enemy overwhelms you. It's ruthlessness elevated to a survival principle. Look at Azeroth's leaders since Sylvanas Windrunner. Her path, her choices burning Teldrassil, forging alliances with ancient evils, embracing the jailer. The parallels are chilling. That willingness to cross lines, to sacrifice others for a perceived greater victory, to become monstrous, to fight monsters, Illidan's playbook. He stands as the archetype of the morally ambiguous leader driven by a desperate, often self-righteous, vision. Every time we debate a character like Sylvanas, Garrosh, or even Arthas at his most pragmatic, we're measuring them against a shadow Illidan cast. His story is the ultimate cautionary tale woven into the fabric of Warcraft. Power always comes at a cost. Sacrifice always leaves scars. The road to hell is paved with good intentions. Illidan sought to save his people, to defeat the Legion, to protect Azeroth. He paid with his eyes, his freedom, his soul, his very identity. He became the monster he fought. And Azeroth paid to the Sundering, the corrupted well, the demon hunter's eternal torment, the fell-scarred waste of Outland, the broken lives left in his wake. His legacy is a tapestry woven with threads of defiance, desperation, immense power, and profound tragedy. Illidan Stormrage is more than a character. He's a force of nature. He's a lesson etched in fell fire and ancient magic. He's the embodiment of the terrible choices Azeroth must sometimes face. His name, the betrayer, echoes through history, but so does his defiance, his sacrifice, and his terrifying effectiveness. He changed everything. He broke worlds and forged weapons that outlived him. He proved that sometimes to fight the darkness you must become it, and that enduring, terrifying truth is why Illidan Stormrage's shadow will forever stretch across the lands of Azeroth and beyond. His legacy isn't just history, it's a warning, a weapon, and a wound that never truly heals. All right, let's talk about Illidan Stormrage. His story, it's not just about power. It's about the slow, terrible cost of it. Every step he took, every choice he made, thinking it was the right one, the only one. It changed him, eroded him, until that brilliant, target young mage was gone, replaced by something else. Arcane ambition, start at the beginning. In ancient Kalimdor, Illidan was born with a gift few could match, a natural, searing talent for the arcane. He drank magic, lived it. His mastery came easily, almost playfully. Think of that shimmering blue energy crackling around him, as natural as breath. His brother Malfurion struggled to connect with the natural world, found his path in druidism. But Illidan, the arcane, flowed for him like a fast river. He reveled in it, that immense talent. It bred something dark, pride, deep and sharp as obsidian, and with it, recklessness. Why tread carefully on the magic bends so easily to your will? Then came the well of eternity. Not just a source of magic, the very heartbeat of Azeroth, raw and infinite. Think of the sweetest nectar, the purest light you can imagine, but bottomless. And Illidan, he didn't just sip, he plunged in head first. That immense arcane well felt like his birthright. Every deep draught filled him with power enough to challenge demons, to feel invincible. But he ignored the whispers underneath. He felt the well tugging at his spirit, a seductive undercurrent, and he dismissed it. Slight teasiness, a tremor in his soul. Costs for others, maybe. Not for him. He was Illidan. The well wasn't just power, it was addiction. He craved its light, pure and unfiltered, blind to the subtle poison seeping in. His first real corruption, it wore a golden guise. Sargeras, the dark titan himself. So that ambition, that hunger burning in Illidan like a bonfire, he offered a gift. Through the possessed Queen Ashara, he forged Illidan-gemmed orbs, his eyes. They let him see the world awash in blinding magical power, ley lines burning, fell energies shimmering, all laid bare. The sheer insight, it was breathtaking, terrifying. It opened entire new dimensions of power for Illidan to grasp. Illidan accepted, thinking he could control it, use the Titan's own tool against him. Oh, that raw, profound understanding of chaos. It wasn't just a key to power. It was the first sprung lock on a door that led straight into darkness. He tasted the power of his enemy and didn't spit it out. He swallowed it. Pride convinced him this sharp vision was only advantage. It blinded him to the hook inside it. That gift marked him forever. It was the crack Sargeras needed to let the shadows crawl in. Two. Fell transformation fast forward thousands of years trapped. Vermin blind in a dark cell beneath Mount Hygel, imprisoned by his own brother. Ditterness festered like an old wound. Had sacrificed everything, his sight, his place, Hanti, to fight the Legion. And this was his reward, imprisonment, entered tyrant, freedom. And immediately, war, the Legion was back. The forces defending Kalimdor faced being swept away. Illidan needed power, power. Now, that's when he found the skull of Golden. The skull of one of the mightiest orc warlocks, radiating sheer, sizzling fell energy. Imagine the scent of ozone and sulfur, a throbbing aura of pure, destructive potential, Imagine the whispers. Just take it. Drink it. Save them. Prove them wrong. It wasn't arcane. That elegant sea he knew. This was fire in his veins, molten damnation flooding his core. He seized the skull, drew in that corrupted energy. Golden as knowledge, his power. It surged into him like superheated steam. The agony was colossal, bones cracking, flesh warping, but the raw, vicious strength that filled him afterwards. It was intoxicating. Wings of pure darkness tore from his back. Horns erupted from his brow. His skin turned the color of bruised twilight. He became demon. The battle was won. The enemy routed, but the cost. Tyr and his brother, they recoiled. That unnatural eyesight, the demonic power radiating from him. They saw only the monster. Illidan saw the necessary sacrifice, the ultimate weapon. He was stronger now. He could really fight Sargeras. But his bond to the world, to the elves, it was broken. He crossed a profound threshold. Life, as he knew it, ended. He became an immortal demon in soul and flesh. The servitude followed logically. The archman who replaced Sargeras, Kil'jaeden, found him a glimmering form of fire and malice, offering exactly what Illidan's hollow victory confirmed he needed. More. Always more. Distracted the Legion from Azeroth by destroying the frozen throne? Yes, Kil'jaeden offered power to do it, unfathomable cosmic might. Deal. Servitude, just words. Illidan understood manipulation. He would be the manipulator. This fell power. It was a tool. He'd bargained with greater powers before. But each pact tightened the chain. Each new surge of energy depended on the dark titan's hand, tried to break free. Kil'jaeden set the brutal Nathrezim Maiv to hunt him down. The moment he hesitated, faltered, the contract was enforced. Pain, threats, reminders of who really owned the power he wielded. The dependency was absolute now. Each desperate grab for more fell strength. Each bargain made to ward off Kil'jaeden's wrath or empower his schemes bound him tighter. He traded autonomy for that sizzling rush through his veins. He didn't just embrace power, he was chained to its radioactive source. *3. Tyranny and Outland driven from his world. Illidan claimed Outland, a shattered fragment of Draenor, hanging like a broken bone in the twisting nether. Here, with the Legion breathing down his neck, he built his fortress, the Black Temple, dripping with tainted power. How do you defend such an impossible bastion? How do you grind down a broken world that seethed with Legion scouts and the remnants of Orcish hordes? The same way the Legion operated. Control, subjugation. Illidan twisted the fell energies he'd consumed into instruments of domination. Think of the sight, the Black Temple, its shadow bleeding corruption. The low fellow orcs, not the corrupted horde of legend. These were Illidan's creations, orc prisoners broken on dark forges, minds shattered, pumped full of raw fell magics, not just empowerment, but enslavement. There will stripped away, replaced by raging, obedient fury. Draenei, too, the broken who still resisted, subjected to horrific experiments, twisted by fell energies into deformed shock troops. The fell blood, tactical justifications echoed in his mind. Necessary force projection. We are at war for existence itself. They are tools for the greater war against Kil'jaeden. The Legion is worse. He compromised everything he once valued. Freedom, the beauty of life itself, to create instruments of brutal, fell-driven oppression. The cruelty of it was staggering. He saw only strength, efficiency. He'd destroyed himself with this power. Now he used it to destroy entire peoples. Was Outland enough? Never. Power, especially fell power, demands feeding. His eyes, always open, scanned the magical currents. Obsession fixed on artifacts. The Eye of Sargeras. He invaded Dalaran, tore the world apart, ignored the devastation to wrest it from the undead scourge. Seeing only his continent's shattering potential, he ripped it from Northrend's icy grip to scour the Lich King from existence. Why? Power meeting power. Kil'jaeden demanded the Lich King's head, and here was the scalpel to carve it off. Then the source radiating deep within his own desolate tower, the restless soul of the Pit Lord Magtheridon, chained and tortured in the basement, ever gorging on his foe for fell power. The energy fell, visceral, a primal surge. But it was never *enough*. The Black Temple wasn't just a fortress. It was a massive capacitor, the central node in his parasite empire. He needed every scrap of power to hold off Kil'jaeden, to enact his plans. But somewhere, quietly, the wife started to bleed out of the then, striking back at the Legion. Maybe, casting down a betrayer, easy to tell himself. But the raw acquisition the hoarding power began to breed hunger purely for itself. The means was becoming the end. The corruption wasn't just demonic. It was arrogant tyranny rooted in believing only he could bear the terrible burdens, make the monstrous choices. He became the very archetype of the power-mad sorcerer king, bathing his broken kingdom in fell green fire, deaf to the screams beyond his inner circle of lieutenants. He'd crossed that threshold, power not for salvation, but for power's dominion. For hollow victory, that relentless pursuit. It chained him to a cycle he couldn't escape, service to Kil'jaeden, tyranny in Outland, seeking ever-escalating power, but power alone. It failed him twice, icy crone, under Kil'jaeden's mind-flaying command to destroy the frozen throne. Illidan marched his armies to the foot of the glacier, faced Arthas. The sheer might he'd accumulated, arcane and fell fused into singularity. It was staggering. The duel was cataclysm incarnate. Yet he walked away wounded, broken. He called upon loathed Sunwell power, channeled demonic fury, and still couldn't break the newly ascended Lich King before the portal closed. All that destructive potential, the armies, the artifacts, it crumbled before the Lich King's advance. Just one outcome: devastating defeat. His student, Kel'Thas, shattered, joining Kil'jaeden, his fell commander, Lady Vash, broken, his armies decimated. He fled back to Outland. His grand counteroffensive ended not in triumph, but in a hollow, ringing silence, while power hadn't been sufficient. Back at the Black Temple, licking wounds, he still felt like the master. Then came Akama, his trusted broken lieutenant, whose people Illidan had mutilated. They came with vengeance. Then Maeve's shadow song, whose bitter obsession finally stood spear-tipped at his fortress door. And then ... His brother, Malfurion, tyrant, the very souls he once cherished, now leading the assault against him. The duel wasn't about power alone. It was about betrayal, loss, broken bonds stretching back millennia. His demonic fury, his fell-empowered strikes that could sunder mountains. They drove them back. But a stark truth had already hit him, despite everything. Despite the horns and wings the fell fire channeled since the dawn of time, despite commanding entire armies tortured to serve him, he stood utterly alone. Power had built scaffolding around him, but the core was a void. Kil'jaeden's forces predictably swarmed Outland moments later, crushing weight, cornered alone in the very citadel of his power. He realized, fell mastery, tyranny, domination, none were true shields. They were anchors condemning him. The isolation was complete, his final defiance, facing Maeve and Akama atop the Black Temple. As the Legion closed in, fascination grips him. The sheer folly. How easily outsiders could breach his realm. He could shatter them, but the truth crashed down. His strength hadn't saved Azeroth. His dominion over Outland hadn't saved him winning. After the initial addiction to magic, perhaps he never really stood a chance on that path. The Legion required more than one man, one tyrant, no matter how powerful. He saw the endless Legion hordes swarming the twisting nether. Victory wouldn't come from hoarding dominion, but from a sacrifice greater than power. The markers of power he'd chased, immortality, tyranny, demonic strength, weren't success at all. They were chains. He relinquished domination. Instead, he chose eternal warfare. He asked Maeve to capture him, and finally trusted someone else. The mortal heroes who had shattered his defenses. He charged them with wielding his legacy not as a weapon, but as a sacrifice. He allowed himself to be torn apart dimensionally, chaining Sargeras in the ethereal core of Azeroth itself forever. His final choice, sacrificing the desperate grasp for personal supremacy in favor of an everlasting, selfless vigilance. True power, he realized in the very end, wasn't about wielding destruction. It was about enduring it forever for everyone else. Surrendering his need to win, he found redemption, perhaps less of him than he thought had been truly lost. You remember that first time, don't you? Warcraft 3, Illidan Stormrage, trapped beneath the earth for 10,000 years. That moment he emerges, broken chains hanging, facing tyrant. His voice, raw with bitterness and desperate hope. You would set me free after 10,000 years. That wasn't just dialogue. It was a crack in the world. And then the skull of Gul'dan, that chilling glow, the agonizing transformation, the horns erupting, the wings tearing free. The betrayer. He claimed the title himself, embraced the monstrous power everyone already saw in him. That scene defined him instantly. Tragedy and terrifying power wrapped in shadow and fell fire. Then came Burning Crusade. The hype was unreal. That Black Temple trailer, Illidan perched atop his fortress, overlooking Outland's shattered sky. The slow turn, those piercing, line-folded eyes seeming to stare right into your soul. The wings unfurling, massive and imposing against the hellish landscape. And then the roar that echoed across a decade of gaming. You are not prepared. It wasn't just a boss line, it became a meme, a battle cry, a cultural landmark. That trailer didn't just announce an expansion. It cemented Illidan as the ultimate adversary, a dark star we were desperate to reach. Years later, Legion arrives. We thought we'd seen the last of him, but no, he returns, not just resurrected, but *REFORGED*. The updated visuals, the sharper horns, the more intricate tattoos, the sheer presence radiating from him. The voice deeper, wiser, burdened by millennia of conflict and sacrifice, yet still burning with that fierce conviction, the chosen one, hearing him speak of the true enemy, the Legion, acknowledging his own darkness while fighting for survival. It shifted everything. We saw the foresight behind the arrogance, the desperation behind the power grab. It wasn't just a return, it was a revelation, a redemption arc we never knew we needed, but instantly embraced. Remember stepping into the Black Temple, the oppressive atmosphere, the echoes of his defiance. Then, facing him, the sheer scale of the arena. Phase 1, dodging flames, battling his immense strength. Then Phase 2. Oh, Phase 2. The ground falls away. He takes flight, demonic wings blotting out the light, raining fell fire down upon you. That moment of sheer panic, looking up at this monstrous, winged terror dominating the skybox. Surviving that, dragging him back down, pure adrenaline, and the prize, those twin blades of Azeroth, seeing them drop, that was the dream. Holding those iconic war glaives, weapons that dripped with his legend, felt like touching a piece of WoW history itself. Then Legion gave us the ultimate gift, becoming him, well, almost rolling a demon hunter. The moment you activate metamorphosis, that surge of power, the wings bursting from your back, the world tinted green. Leaping across chasms with fell rush, seeing hidden demons through spectral sight's eerie glow. It wasn't just playing a class, it was embodying Illidan's essence. The speed, the fury, the sacrifice made visible. Every glide, every chaotic strike channeled his defiance. We weren't just fighting demons. We were living his war. Feeling the fell power he embraced coursing through us, and the Mage Tower. Facing cruel atop the broken shore was tough, but wielding the twin blades of the Deceiver against the shade of Illidan that was personal. Hearing his voice taunt you, seeing his spectral form mirror his iconic moves. It was a trial by fire, proving you were prepared, mastering his own weapons against an echo of his power. That challenge wasn't just about skill. It was a pilgrimage, a duel with the ghost of the betrayer himself. Triumphing there felt like earning his grudging respect. His words stick with you, don't they? You are not prepared. It echoed arrogance. Yes, but look deeper. It was foresight. He saw the Legion's true skill, saw the weakness of mortals, and even his own brother. He knew the cost, knew the horror coming, and that line was a desperate, furious warning flung at a world he believed was sleepwalking into annihilation. It wasn't just mockery, it was prophecy spat from the jaws of damnation. Then there's the heart of it. I sacrificed everything. What have you given? That line cuts deep. It's not boastful, it's raw, aching. He lists his losses, his eyes, his freedom, his very soul. It's tragic self-awareness laid bare. He knows the monstrous path he walked, the price he paid, and he throws that sacrifice back at us, demanding if our own commitment even compares. It transforms him from villain to tragic figure, forever scarred by his choices and his driving philosophy. Asterisk, asterisk, sometimes the hand of fate must be forced. Asterisk, asterisk, this explains asterisk everything asterisk. Maeve imprisoning him, Arthas becoming Lich King, the Legion's endless cycle. He saw cosmic disasters unfolding and believed waiting for fate, or the light was suicide. He'd seize power, make monstrous bargains, shatter the status quo, asterisk anything asterisk to avert the apocalypse he foresaw. It reframes his betrayals, his ruthlessness. Was he wrong? Often. But his core drive wasn't conquest. It was a terrifying, proactive desperation to asterisk save asterisk everything, no matter the personal cost or moral compromise. That complexity is magnetic. Look around any BlizzCon, any convention. You'll see him. The intricate horn prosthetics, the painstakingly crafted warglaives glowing with lead-filled energy, the leathery wings stretching wide. Cosplayers pour their souls into becoming the betrayer. Artists capture his torment, his power, his defiance in stunning detail. His silhouette, horns, blindfold, wings, warglaives, is instantly recognizable, a symbol fans wear proudly. He inspires devotion like few others. The debates, they never end, do they? Hero or villain? Necessary evil or power-mad traitor? Was sacrificing the Naru justify? Did his ends ever truly justify his horrific means? Was his legion redemption earned or just convenient? We argue passionately over pints, in forums late into the night, that ambiguity is his gift. He defies easy labels, forcing us to grapple with sacrifice, foresight, and the price of victory. He makes us asterisk think asterisk. His legacy hit reshaped wow. Before Illidan, villains were often simpler. He brought moral grayness, tragic depth, and operatic scale to the forefront. He proved players could love a character who was deeply, fundamentally asterisk, flawed asterisk, even monstrous, because his motivations were relatable. Love, sacrifice, the desperate need to protect. He showed us that redemption is messy, that heroes can fall, and that even the damned can fight for the light in their own brutal way. He made Azeroth's story richer, darker, and infinitely more compelling. That's why he endures. That's why we whisper asterisk you are not prepared, asterisk with a grin. That's why we feel the weight of asterisk I sacrificed everything asterisk. He's the outcast who became a demon to fight demons. The prophet ignored, the savior vilified. He's our beautiful, monstrous, tragic, defiant Illidan, and we wouldn't have him any other way.